Green Hill Zone, Rainbow Road, Rapture, the Spencer Mansion. These are some of the greatest settings in video game history, right? Of course they are. And you know what else belongs in that conversation? Maybe at the very top.
Raiden wins.
That's right, the pit. Mortal Kombat's most iconic stage has changed in shape, size, execution, and even elevation over the years. And today, I'm going over the edge. How tall is the pit, really? Are the jagged rocks of the pit 2 gnarlier than the spikes of the original? Who was the madman that designed the pit 3? The transition to 3D, you know what? Let's just get into it. This is Into the Pit, the evolution of Mortal Kombat's most iconic battleground. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts, and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. The year is 1992. Mortal Kombat just smashed into arcades and players are killing their friends in gruesome and grotesque ways. That is, if they knew the secret button combinations to execute their character's fatality. I am of the mind that every single stage in the original Mortal Kombat is iconic. The Warrior's Shrine, Goro's Lair, the Courtyard, please. But the focus here today is the pit. A stone bridge, no more than 3 feet wide, with no handrails to speak of, so simply walking across this thing might be a little scary. Now take note of the fact that nobody is up here walking, they're fighting. Then factor in what waits below, a bed of razor-sharp spikes. The pit was iconic in design, iconic in risk factor, and maybe most importantly of all, iconic in its simplicity. Unlike the fatality moves of each fighter on the roster, the pit finish can be hit by literally anyone with their fingers on the buttons, as a simple uppercut is enough to trigger the main event.
Excellent. Sub-Zero wins.
Amazing, right? In the lore of the world, this deadly stage is located on Shang Tsung's island, which itself falls in between Earthrealm and Outworld. It's out there in the fog, on the water somewhere, you know? The bodies impaled on the support columns belong to people we've never known. The heads stuck on spikes in real life belong to several Midway team members, but in the game, it's the same deal. We don't know who these people were in this world. I've often wondered exactly how tall the pit is, and now seems like as good a time as any to try and figure it out, right? If we're assuming this unfortunate gentleman right here was 6 feet tall, let's copy his height and stack it up. Boom, 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 boom. Now we're going a little over the top there, so we'll chop what would amount to about 2 feet or so. I'm coming up with 30 feet. What do you guys think? Does that seem right to you? I've considered this before, that it might be 30 feet, but it just doesn't feel like 30 feet is that high. But if we look at the second model of Hell in a Cell, which is 20 feet tall, yeah, I think 30 feet is probably pretty damn scary. I always liked seeing where the spikes actually struck my opponent. Sometimes you get a torso shot, other times it's right through the head. Ouch. Johnny Cage falls funny, and I always hated the idea of taking a spike under the knee. Oy, oy. One piece of added story flair that I did not know until very recently is that the reason Reptile is fought at the bottom of the pit is because that's where Shang Tsung ordered him to stay. Apparently our favorite sorcerer got annoyed with how many fighters were somehow surviving the fall, and Reptile's job was to, make sure they did not survive for very long. Jeez-a-loo. The following year marked the arrival of Mortal Kombat 2. It's a great sequel. Bigger roster, more levels, more moves, and of course, another pit. The pit was so awesome that it got a sequel. How many other levels in video game history have gotten sequels? Don't answer that. I haven't really thought about it. If the number is big, it's going to make this whole thing less impressive. Look, the Pit 2 isn't on the in-between anymore. This time, we're in Outworld, baby. And it damn sure looks like it. The bridge isn't a plain stone slab. We're now looking at an ornately crafted, kind of gothic, sharp, and spiraled out deal. I think it still looks like stone, but what the hell do I know? In the background, we see something a little crazy. There's another pit back there. Another pit hosting another fight. Man, Outworld is out of control. There are no spikes at the bottom of this death trap, and while that may sound disappointing, let me just show you what we're dealing with here. I gotta be honest, I think the jagged rocks at the bottom might be even more horrific. The fact that the pit 2 is also much taller than the original plays a huge part in the fear factor. Call me crazy, but based on how long it takes to hit the bottom, I think this one might be a little over 100 feet tall. As far as I know, there doesn't exist a single image of the entire structure in one shot, so there's really no way to tell for sure. But if we take a look at the other Pit 2 bridge in the background of the stage, we can see how much space is visible below the platform with no sign of the ground anywhere in sight. It's 100 feet, at least. You heard it here first.
Reptile wins.
The mystery fighters in the background have been given the names Hornbuckle and Blaze over the years, of which Blaze was fully canonized into a boss character. If there is something that sucks about the Pit 2, the ability to trigger this finish with an uppercut has been removed. Now, each fighter has their own stage fatality button combination, making the Pit 2 just as secret as any other finisher. It's worth noting, the Pit 2 would return in Mortal Kombat Trilogy, but its finish is actually impossible to pull off. Why is it impossible to pull off? Well, the characters from Mortal Kombat 3 did not have the front-facing sprites required to animate the Pit 2's impact shot. And rather than creating them or changing the Pit 2 in some way in order to fit in with these limitations, Midway opted to just remove the fatality functionality. At that point, I feel like you should just remove the whole stage. What's the point, right? Mortal Kombat 3 took the action from Outworld and dropped it straight into the streets where we live. I mean, we can fight in Hell too, or the Netherrealm, sorry, but yeah, Shao Kahn invading Earthrealm basically turned our world into madness. Have you ever wondered where the Pit 3 is located? I never really did until just now. I think pretty clearly we are inside Kahn's tower. This tower. I think we're at the very top if you factor in how far the fall is. One thing I really love about the Pit 3's design is that the left side is the doorway, the entrance. Walking along the bridge leads you directly to Shao Kahn's throne. Now, I don't know what Shao Kahn does in here all day, sitting in this throne, surrounded by a giant open space and a bridge in front of him. Does he have a Game Boy or something? What if he got up to take a shit and he tripped and fell over the edge? What a way to go. The papers would read, "Earthrealm reclaims peace." Some fighter would take credit, but really it was just Shao Kahn being a fucking idiot. Anyway, the bottom this time has spinning blades that shred you to pieces. Who the fuck designed this thing? Oh no!
Scorpion wins.
My goodness gracious, this is ridiculous. Is this really necessary? The fall itself is every bit of 200 feet this time. No one is surviving that. Did we really need the bottom to be a human blender? We're stepping into pitfall territory now. Do you remember that AVGN joke?
Couldn't there have been lava on top of the spikes with fire sharks swimming in it? Couldn't there be more spikes coming from the sides ready to close in and squash me while stabbing at the same time? How about some laser cannons and upside down volcanoes?
I used to think these things back here were green lights, but they're not lights. These are soul cages, housing the stolen essence of thousands of people. That's nice, right? After this third iteration, the pit would disappear for nearly 10 years, skipping both Mortal Kombat 4 and Deadly Alliance. The 3D era of Mortal Kombat changed a great many things, one of which pertains to this video. Look at the pit! It's back! It's 3D, and it's a fucking square. I mean, what were they gonna do, right? The ability to strafe and move about the fighting area in 3 dimensions would not have worked on a bridge no more than 3 feet wide, would it? So this is what we got. A big ol' stone square.
Havoc wins.
And what I really, really love is that Midway were not pretending that this is what the pit always was, and we just couldn't tell due to our vantage point before. No, the original pit is right there, in the background. And if you want to know something really crazy, turn around 180 degrees. There's another pit! You're telling me these were here the whole time? This is madness. Every new appearance of this stage is just going further and further into the insanity zone. My question is, how the fuck does anybody get up on top of this thing? There's no ladder to climb, there's no walkway, no trapdoor in the floor. This is just a giant tabletop in the middle of a spike field. How did we get up here? Did we parachute in? If so, where's the airport? Is there a hot air balloon service we ride to the top? Do both fighters share the same balloon, or do they have to come up separately so that they don't fight on the way? No one has ever thought about this before. But I hope, from this day forward, that you never get away from this. I want you to look at the 3D Deception Pit and forever wonder how the hell anybody got up here. 2005 rolled around, and with it came my favorite MK game ever made, that being Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. A third-person action-adventure game with RPG elements taking place between the events of Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2, meaning all of the levels we play through are 3D explorable interpretations of levels from the first 2 games. You know, something we'd never seen before, something extremely cool. And you bet your bottom dollar the pit is here. Of course it is. And once again, it has changed. The spikes are a different shape. They're closer together. They're simply not placed in certain areas where they should be. Like this is under construction or something. I don't know. What's our main takeaway? It should be that Shaolin Monks is fantastic. This is awesome.
Up here! Cage! This is the way off the island!
Now, making these jumps is not awesome. Anyone who has ever played this game knows how annoying these are. And hey, where the hell is the 3D tabletop pit? Where is it? I'm saying 2 narrow bridges. Where the hell is the Deception tabletop? Jury's out, I guess. I thought it might be interesting to mention that the pit 2 appears in Shaolin Monks as well, as a part of the super secret smoke missions. Now, I have never played this part myself, so shout out to the channel I've sourced these clips from. This looks pretty cool. I feel like you can kind of tell this is a super secret stage because it's visually not as nice as the other levels in the game, but it's very cool to have it here nonetheless. 6 years later, the pit would again resurface, this time in Mortal Kombat. I mean, we all call it MK9, but officially the title is just Mortal Kombat. You know the drill. Raiden sent a message back in time, we're reliving the original trilogy, blah blah blah. Wouldn't you know it, the pit has changed again! This time, it's a strange amalgamation of the first 2 iterations. We've got the 2 bridges, the 2 fighters in the background, the ornate gothic design. These are staples of the pit 2. But at the bottom, we've got spikes.
Rain wins. Fatality.
Up above, the massive Tim Burton-ass moon. Staples from the original. For the first time in franchise history, we've got the pit both at night and during the day, which is awesome. The exploding volcanoes are unreal, and if you watch closely, you can see the bridge in the distance actually get demolished in the same exact way the bridge was demolished in Shaolin Monks. It's the little things, right? The spikes have changed again as well, now no longer straight and uniform, but scattered and shaped more like shards of broken glass and cut steel than anything else. As if the different times of day weren't enough variety, the bottom of the pit is a playable stage as well, for the first time ever. Well, for the first time in a mainline entry. Look, MK Trilogy is a mashup. It's a combo pack, basically. But check this out down here with Sub-Zero and Reptile. Looks like old times, huh? Actually, hold on. There we go. Look at these spouts just pouring blood out 24/7. Where's this blood coming from? Look at the rivers below. Where does this blood flow to? Where's it going? I have so many questions. But these are the types of questions that make Mortal Kombat what it is, right? The follow-up, Mortal Kombat X, did not include the pit. But its expanded version, Mortal Kombat XL, did. It's basically the same exact deal as it was in MK9, the mashup of the first and second versions. But what's brand new is hitting the spikes on the column on the way down. The opponent's body is sent flipping and flying downward, actually losing an arm as they go, before landing face down at the bottom, another first for the series.
Finish him. Aaron Black wins. Fatality.
Goodness gracious, Dan Dans. No, thank you. This iteration of the pit is the stage's final playable appearance to date, marking 10 years since we've battled atop this treacherous bridge. I cannot believe Mortal Kombat X is 10 years old. My god. Now, of course, 2019's Mortal Kombat 11 featured the pit in the Crypt mode, but as I stated, we're not allowed to fight here. This is merely an attraction, a feature, a setting, not a playable stage. This really is incredible to see, and keeping with the pit's ever-changing nature, I'm seeing 3 individual bridges, counting the one that I'm standing on. No 3D tabletop, and that one in the distance is every bit of 200 feet tall. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ, be careful, guys. I suppose I should mention that the pit has just been added to Fortnite as well. Arguably the biggest game in the world, at least one of the biggest games in the world. Look, I'm not studying Fortnite statistics right now. I'm just saying, you can now open chests and collect loot or do whatever the hell it is you do in Fortnite at the pit. The pit is iconic. I actually wonder where it falls on the all-time list, and I mean that in multiple regards. Is the pit more famous than Green Hill Zone? Is it more well-known than Rapture? In its own franchise, how recognizable is the pit in comparison to the main faces, Sub-Zero and Scorpion? These are questions I would love for you to answer in the comments. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed this walk down the most dangerous memory lane I could ever imagine. Please consider signing up over on patreon.com/616entertainment or right here under a YouTube channel membership. Thank you for watching Mortal Kombat Monday, and until next time, I love ya, and I will see you soon.
Finish him. Excellent. Johnny Cage wins.